Hi guys, how are you? This is Caio Santucci, this is Fan of Heroes, and tonight I have the honor of being here with a huge comic book artist known by his work in Conan, Image, X-Men, Supergirl, and more comic stuff. I'm here with Mr. Mahmud Asrar. How are you, sir?
Hi, great to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you for coming. Sir, my first question is always the same. Who are you?
Okay, I am Mahmud Asrar, of course. I'm a comic book artist. I do comics for a living. I've been doing this for about maybe, I don't know, over 10 years now. I have
Nice,
lost count, but I've started much earlier. I've been drawing since I was a kid, so I took an education in arts, and so all because I wanted to do comics. And then I started doing fanzines and
nice,
started publishing locally back when I used to live in Turkey. And I found like-minded friends who would do this with me. So I grew up doing that, and I managed to break into the mainstream comics industry, and that led to me doing some really cool projects over the years.
nice. Yeah. You talked about fanzines and that this opens a door for me. That is, you were born in Turkey, right? And went to work in American comic industry. So how did you interested in comics? How is the industry, the comic industry in Turkey in terms of independent publications, the incentive to comics, you know?
Well, Turkish comics, there has always been a presence, but mostly comics were translated in Turkey. So we had foreign comics that were translated, mostly European stuff, especially Italian comics were popular,
Yeah,
the Westerns and everything. And of course, some American stuff as well. Not so much Japanese or manga or similar Eastern comics, but yeah, we had those. Some local comics were also being produced over the years, but it was never really a big industry. So,
mhm,
especially what we were interested in, what I was interested in, superheroes was never a really thing or had a presence in Turkish industry.
yeah,
So we started doing fanzines about those, our characters who would live in the cities that we lived in.
nice,
So yeah, that's how we got into it. It's been growing since then. There's been some indie comics and some also some mainstream comics being published over there, but they're not in the vein of what we understand as American comics. They're more
yeah,
fantasy, or I don't know, horror, or it could be any kind of thing. Especially humor comics are very popular in
nice,
Turkey.
yeah.
I mean, it has been over the years.
Yeah. Do you still read European comics, all this kind of stuff? Do you still?
Yes, I don't try to make any exceptions to any kind of comics. So like I
Nice,
try to read whatever I like, so it could
nice,
be manga, it could be European comics, fumetti, Americans, indie comics, everything, like if it's good and if it resonates with me, I try to have a look at it.
nice.
Mostly I care about art, so like if it's pretty
Uh,
for me, so I look at those especially.
Dynamo 5 was the first comic book that popularized you. So what did this comic mean to your career? Would you like to return to this universe sometime?
Yes, Dynamo 5 was actually, yes, as you said, one of the biggest things that made me a bit more popular in the American industry. Jay Faerber, the writer, reached out to me because he saw my work online and we started doing the comic.
Yeah,
And we did it for a few years and over 25 issues, and it was a very fun book. But the thing is, like, it wasn't selling well towards the end, so we had to stop. But always loved the series. The premise was very much fun for us, and we always talk about doing it more of that with Jay,
yeah,
but it's never been, like in the cards for us yet. So who knows, in the future, maybe again.
nice, nice. More things to image. Do you pretend to do this? Do you intend to do this? Something?
Oh yes, definitely. I want, yes, the short hopefully soon, actually. I have some stuff going on,
Nice,
so maybe you will see some creator-owned stuff from me in the future.
nice. Let's go. So let's talk about Marvel a little bit. Okay. You did She-Hulk with Peter David. That is a huge writer. And that's interesting because she's my favorite Marvel character because of that Byrne did with her, you know. And all fans of this John Byrne run are very demanding in the sense no one will ever do a character stories, the She-Hulk stories as Byrne did, you know. So when you worked on this run, did you feel pressure from the fans in the regard on or pressure imposed by yourself?
No, not through fans or
Nice.
anything, but because it was one of my first projects with Marvel,
Mm-hmm.
I had a certain kind of pressure in that sense, especially working with Peter David, who I really
Yeah,
admired
yeah,
because of his work on Hulk. So it was my first big showcase on a Marvel book. So, and I really liked the character She-Hulk. I've always, as you do, I've enjoyed the John Byrne series especially. Um, so I had this thing to prove myself, like, so I had to, I kind of put pressure on myself in that regard. So
nice,
it was a bit stressful, but it was also fun, and
nice,
yeah, it ended up being okay.
nice. If you told that it was one of the first works that you did, so when you today look to the first works, you see your pages, you see something you would change, you say, oh, I could change this arm, this, I don't know, this jump.
Um, as you know, like a lot of artists are usually not very happy with their older work.
Yeah.
I'm one of those. I am very hard on myself, especially considering my own work. I look at it and I see all the mistakes and everything all the time.
Nice,
The
nice,
thing is, the older the work is, I become more forgiving about it because it's too far back now that I can't do anything about it, and I make my peace with it. So it was a long time ago. So like I see it and I accept it for what it is. I become more critical of myself, especially for work that is more recent. It could be like the page I did yesterday, and I see it today, and I get really angry about some
nice.
stuff because there are some stuff that I wish I could do better, and I try to push myself to do better. And it's a very painful thing sometimes, and it really actually
Yeah,
uh, I mean, considering a lot of things in the world, it's maybe like a luxury to be complaining about one's own art, but I feel it can be really stressful or very depressing at times. But I have come to realize that these kind of periods have always been something like a growth for me as an artist. So
yeah,
um, yeah, I
yeah.
try to accept it in that sense, and like try to push on.
Yeah, it means you're growing. That's it.
That's the hope. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice. So talk about X-Men Red now. That is one of the most nicest histories that I ever read. You know, I really loved it. And X-Men Red is probably one of the best X-Men stories of recent years. It's not me that's are saying it. A lot of fans says, and I'm not the biggest fan of X-Men, but X-Men Red is really good. So, but there are many groups. Okay, let's enter in politics now. Okay, are many groups of on the extreme right who thinks it's absurd to talk about the world's real problems as prejudice, as why the social minorities uh, are treated like they're not people when they are, you know. So as an artist, when you see someone criticizing these points in history, are you happy that discussion about prejudice are reaching those who most needs to hear about it? Or it's just a feeling of frustration? I don't know if you got that.
I see what you mean. I think. I mean, I've been lucky to work on a lot of X-Men stuff, and
Yeah,
as you say, X-Men is one of those books that was born out of something like what you mentioned, the to make a voice for kind of the voiceless, or, you know,
Yeah,
like mutants being the outcasts in society, the minority and stuff. So seeing somebody complain about politics inside X-Men, I find it actually funny, you know.
yeah, exactly.
Because that's the whole point of the book, you know, like tells you about the minorities and the problems about them. And I've been very happy to have worked with Tom on X-Men Red, you know, like to tell that story. I wish it would have lasted longer. It's lasted quite short, I mean, from what we were expecting, but we were really happy about what we told in that story.
Yeah,
And in that regard, um, I like that what I do actually can resonate with people in a sense that it maybe makes them think about stuff, about their views on life or something
yeah,
like that. We don't get that opportunity too much in mainstream comics, but when we do, it really means a lot. So I was happy that, you know, like there were people kind of, you know, like who actually enjoyed that story, and
yeah.
also some people who were kind of bothered by it in a way.
Yeah, yeah, that's perfect. Chris Claremont, that was the main run of X-Men, did it. Yeah, he talked about politics all the time. X-Men is about it. So so it's pretty funny. As you said, it's funny to say to see people that that has this prejudice, right? And you say that you worked a lot with X-Men. And when I started to read comics, one of the first Marvel comics that I read was the one comic of X-Men. The cover was Miles Morales and Jean Grey. I don't remember exactly how was the composition of the scene, but and you were on the CCXP here in Brazil, maybe 2016.
Yeah, it should be 16. I remember, I
Yeah,
think.
and I would like to take an autograph, but I was really ashamed. So I was I wasn't I don't know allowed to go there to take an autograph. So I hope to you back soon to Brazil.
I
I'm
would love
just
to.
I'm
I
just
had a
opening
great
my
time
heart now.
with the show was amazing. Everybody was great. I loved it. I had a great time with all the fans and everybody. So hopefully
Yeah.
soon I will come back again. You know, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, pretty nice to hear. So I'm going to my last two questions, and then we have two questions of a fan who sent. But let's go to this now. Talk about Conan, right? The Conan is a much loved character, and when he returned to Marvel, fans were very happy. And you, for you, how was being the chosen one to make this triumphant return to the character?
Uh, when I heard Conan was coming to back to Marvel, I was like kind of very happy about it. Also,
Yeah,
but jealous because I thought some you know, like amazing artist is gonna draw that book, and you know, like I wish I could and stuff.
yeah,
And then I get a call from Marvel, and
uh,
they told me like Jason asked for me to draw the book because we've been talking with Jason for doing some more stuff together, and he thought I would be a good fit for the book, so he suggested my name. So that's how I got the call, and I was really happy and also stressed out because Conan was a big thing for me growing up.
yeah.
Conan was very popular when I was growing up back in Turkey, and it was a I felt it was a privilege to get to draw the character, and
Mhm.
has been one of my favorite project over the years,
Yeah,
if not the most
yeah,
favorite thing that I did, because it became like a rejuvenating experience for me as an artist. It made me grow in a way I feel. It made me challenge myself in different ways as an artist, and hopefully become a better draftsman and then a storyteller.
yeah.
So I was
Perfect.
very lucky to have drawn the book, I feel.
Yeah, and Conan, when I read it, it was 2019 that I read, and the first page is a double page of his fight, and it's beautiful. I really enjoy it. I think your art combined it a lot with the propose, you know. And you said about we that one other big artist could make this project. Who do you think it would be great to a Conan if it wasn't you, obviously?
I don't know. There are so many great artists out there.
I mean today, just
I know that Dan Panosian is a very big Conan fan,
yeah,
so I would have loved to see him do the book. Um, Rob De La Torre is doing some great Conan stuff. I think he will be drawing the new book, the Coming from Titan.
nice.
So I think he will be a good fit.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, so many good artists out there.
Yeah, and it's pretty nice because you didn't adapt it. Yeah, nothing of the Robert Howard was because everything was adapted. So you created new things. You and Jason, and it's very nice. I have more Conan questions, but you told me that this is one of your best comics. So I have to ask, what's your in your opinion, what's the worst comic that you made on your whole career?
That's a difficult question to answer because two things. Um, there's probably a lot
Okay.
that I don't like. Uh, so picking something up, I don't know. I really can't say. It's probably something that was really rushed,
Yeah,
and something I had a really tight deadline with. Probably my earlier Marvel work. But the
yeah,
thing is, like, I don't like to say bad things about my older work, in the sense that I know there are people out there who enjoy comics as what they are. They don't know
yeah.
the backstory of how we produce these things, and they
Perfect.
get what they get, and they don't know what the story behind how it was produced is. So if they enjoy it, I don't want to go and say like, I hate that and stuff, and
Yeah, that's
like make
perfect.
them feel bad about it,
I completely understand. That's perfect. So you've worked with some of the best writers from the present time, Jeff Lemire, Jason Aaron, Tom Taylor. Tom Taylor is my favorite one, I have to say, but it's okay. So this is my polemic and sensationalist question. From all the writers you worked with, who did you feel the process of making a comic with was more intense? Intense doesn't mean bad, it's just more challenging.
Hmm. Okay, this can be many things.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how to answer this the best way. I feel the thing I feel like when I work with Jason Aaron, I feel a bit more um, sinking into the story so that I feel it more. Like when I read
yeah.
the script from him, I can visualize everything much easier. And when I draw the panels, I feel like I am actually feeling those feelings. If it's a moment of sadness, or like if it's an anger thing, or if it's something else, yeah, I feel more passionate about that. So I might feel more intense in that way. But in terms of challenge, I feel one of the hardest things was probably X-Men Red, because it
Yeah,
was um, very kind of like, as you said, it was a bit more real life political stance going on in the story. So in that sense, it was a bit more challenging, with especially the locations, the stories, the characters, the feelings. It was a bit of a challenge, especially considering like the characters wouldn't even wear their costumes for quite a bit in the story.
yeah.
So it was a superhero book that was more real life, and so
Nice,
it was a bit more challenging, I guess.
nice, pretty nice. So now going to fans question. There's two. Micro comics. It's the who said it.
Mhm.
Send two questions for you. The first one is just let me. The first one is what was it like working on Conan? We uh, already answered, but because now it's the interesting part. Because the tradition of Conan in Marvel was the classic black and white design, but its style is more modern and stylized. Style. I don't know how to say this word.
Mhm.
In the Color magazine where there are many were there many haters at this stage?
No, that was a good surprise actually. Was very happy to see a lot of people were very happy with what they saw and what they read in the
Yeah,
book. And that was very encouraging for all of us in the team. And because everybody was saying something in the sense like they feel the book was a very modern take on Conan,
yeah,
also had the feeling of the classic Conans of the, like the original Marvel years. And especially, I would get some really, really flattering comments, people saying like I can't accept this myself, but they were saying like I'm on the level of some of the Conan artists, great artists, which was very flattering for me. So people were very happy about that. And working on the book has, although at the beginning was a bit of a stress because of all the legacy of the book,
yeah.
over time I got used to it. And as I said, it made me grow as an artist. So like it was pure joy working on the pages, like creating all the words and the stories of the world of Conan.
Yeah, that's perfect. And the second question, Microcomics sent, thank you, Microcomics, for sending these questions. Which main designers influenced you in line and storytelling?
Yes, well, I would say my first influence would be John Buscema, a
Sure,
Conan artist,
sure.
mainly a Conan artist, but he's been great on anything he did. And
Yeah,
he was the first name I recognized in comics, and I feel I still have that influence growing in me, especially over the years doing Conan again.
yeah,
Uh, I feel that influence comes out through me again. But I've had a lot of artists who affected me for storytelling and in terms of design and style. Some of the biggest ones are John Byrne, Jim Lee, I could say Mike Mignola, Adam Hughes, Stuart Emmanuel, some modern artists,
yeah,
some of my friends, some new upcoming artists.
yeah.
The thing is, like with artists, I feel there is something once we enjoy something, we kind of tend to be something like a sponge. We absorb the stuff that we like, and we try to, I don't know, maybe subconsciously put that into our own work.
Nice.
Sometimes it could be a way of the style of the drawing, a composition, or the panels. So it could be anything.
That's great. Mr. Asrar, thank you so much for coming. I'm a huge fan of your work, and I'm a huge fan of you as a person now. You're really
Thank
nice.
you.
Thank you so much for coming.
Very kind of.
Would you like to say something to your Brazilian fans?
Brazilian fans are some of the best fans I've ever met. Truly.
Oh, that's
When I was
beautiful.
there in 2016, like there was so many of you over there saying, like, and I could feel the actual the passion for comics and the love for comics.
Yeah,
So many of you, and it was so genuine. Like it was very. I was very happy to be there, and I was very happy to see people happy to see me. So
yeah.
so it was I hopefully a mutual thing. So and I think there are a ton of great, amazing Brazilian artists, and they have a huge influence on me and the industry, I feel, and I hope to be there again soon.
That's great. I have one last question that I have to ask. I'm seeing a Ray action figure there, and I have to ask, do you like the sweet sequels?
I have a mixed response to that, I would say. The thing
Let's
is, like,
go.
I like I like The Force Awakens quite a lot.
Me too.
The
Yeah.
first movie. I really, really enjoy that movie. I watch it a lot, and I actually enjoy watching it. And then the thing is, I like things about the other movies as well, especially because of Rey and Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Uh, and so there are things that I really like about all of the three movies, and there are things that I really don't like about them
Yeah.
also. But I feel there is a big problem with these three movies, which is that they didn't really. I mean, it appears that they didn't have a roadmap for the
Yeah.
three
Yeah.
movies. They didn't have like a big plan for what would happen,
Yeah.
but it was as if they made all the movies like in the last minute with the stories, changing all the time and stuff. So they took some backtracking and things like that. It feels, um, but in the end, I actually am not one of the haters.
I
I
am.
know.
Not
Everybody,
not because the Force Awakens I like the Last Jedi, but the Rise of Skywalker is just sad. I can't. I watched it when in movie theaters when it was published, and I watch it. I try to watch every year to change my opinion, but I can't. I just can't. But it's okay. It's a great question. It's a great answer. Mr. Asrar, thank you so much. I'm not taking more time, guys. Thanks so much for
oh, thank you for
watching.
your time.
Subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. And what's your social media, Mr. Asrar? To the
Everybody can find me through my name at Mahmud Asrar on
yeah.
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Hive, Mastodon.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
that's great. Thank you so much, sir. Guys,
Thank you.
thank you so much. Goodbye.